Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the first time, we are glad you are here. I'm Reverend Sharon Wiley, Chalice's minister. Our worship musician this morning is Justin Gray. Welcome to this online worship service. Welcome to those of you watching live using Zoom on Sunday morning after our holidays off. And welcome to those of you who are watching the recording of this service later on Chalice's YouTube channel. For those of us using Zoom on Sunday morning, please notice on your menu, you have a button that says CC Live Transcript. That's Zoom's closed captioning service. And you can click on it to hide the subtitle or to show the subtitle, depending on whether or not you want that function on or off. You're in control of that on your own screen. Also on your menu is the chat button. For those of us who like to use the chat box during the service, you're welcome to do so. But be sure that when you post that you use that little blue drop-down menu to select everyone. If you only chat with the host and what else does it say? Host and panelists, it only comes to me and I might not see your message during the service and I might not realize that you only sent it to me as well. So let's give ourselves a big hug of hello and welcome. If you share space with someone who consents to a hug, might hug each other. Finally, I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice this morning. Towards the end of the service, I'll put a link in the chat box for adding your name to our email list. Our weekly email is the best way to get information about our many groups and activities we offer, most of which are still happening on Zoom, but not all of them. And also as we get ready, we hope to have an in-person component to our Sunday worship. We'll be communicating those changes primarily via email. Also our website, so you can keep an eye on our website. Now, let's take a breath together.
I'm Judy Cavallo.
I'm Steve Schlesinger.
And we live on land stolen from the Payam, now known as San Marcos.
My name is Dennis Brown, and I live on land stolen from the Payam, now known as Marietta.
My name is Dre Marsh, and I live on land stolen from the Kumeyaay and Payam, now known as Escondido.
My name is Jeff Harlig. I live on land stolen from the Payam. That area is now known as Vista.
I'm Debbie Street Idell. I live on land stolen from the Kumeyaay. It's now known as Scripps Ranch.
My name is Amaki Ayipa, and I live on land stolen from the Payam, now known as San Marcos.
Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. We're lighting a lot of candles this morning for Advent and for Hannukah. So you see our chalice at the back. The flaming chalice was first used during World War II by the Unitarian Service Committee as a symbol of life-saving refuge for people fleeing persecution in Europe. May our chalice flame burn brightly, that all who are seeking may find us. words of our call to worship come from Reverend Don Shea Cooley. The diversity of the human species is astounding. The fact that we can gather together for common experience is nothing short of a miracle. Today, let us celebrate some of those differences. Let us celebrate those who worship best through music, for whom the holy speaks through rhythm and harmony, pitch and meter. Let us celebrate the interpersonal worshiper, who finds the sacred in relationships and in community. Let us celebrate those who worship best through the visual world, for whom the divine speaks through the aesthetics of a space. Let us celebrate the verbal and linguistic worshiper, for whom words and languages, stories and poetry are sacred sources of joy and revelation. Let us celebrate those to whom the divine might be found in logical reasoning, in mathematics, and through critical thinking. Let us celebrate the intrapersonal worshiper, those who experience the holy as they listen to the still small voice within themselves. Let us celebrate those who worship best through their bodies, those to whom the divine speaks through movement and physical action. And let us celebrate the naturalistic worshiper, for whom the sacred is found in plants and animals, mountains and valleys, deserts and forests, oceans and streams. Today, may we find a way to connect with the ultimate, each according to our own ways of understanding and experiencing the world. May we bring our whole selves to this worship service and celebrate the diversity amongst us. Let us worship together.
We are entering a time of year where the earth grows colder, the animals begin to hibernate, and the days become continually shorter. This morning marks the beginning of the season of Advent. In the Christian tradition, Advent is the beginning of the church year, recognizing the transforming power of God in the world and looking forward toward the birth of Jesus and the celebration of spiritual light. And Christianity is not alone in celebrating light at this time of year. Hannukah, solstice, and Kwanzaa all involve candles, fire, and lights as part of their celebrations. Each year until Christmas, we light a new candle on the Advent wreath, a circle of evergreens, along with each of the preceding candles. The flame of each new candle reminds us that something is happening now, but something more is still to come. The light of Advent grows brighter and brighter, guiding us toward personal peace, shared joy, and more love. This morning, we light the first candle. We light this candle as a symbol of hope and expectation. May we dare to open the shadowy places of our lives and memories to the healing light of community. With the creative power of hope, we express our longing for peace and prepare our hearts to be transformed.
Our Advent hymn this year is from our gray hymnal, number 226, People Look East. Please join in singing.
sing today. Love the roses on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim. One more light the morn shall bring, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as the sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love the star is on the way.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Joanna Lubkin. I'm coming to you from Boston with some greetings for Hannukah, which begins tonight at sundown. It's a little early on the secular calendar this year, and so the holiday falls before the winter solstice, when the nights are still getting longer instead of shorter. It's made me think of this teaching from the Talmud, a legend that the rabbis tell about Adam, the first person. And I learned this from my friend and colleague, Rabbi Miriam Farber. So the rabbis of the Talmud imagine Adam, the first person, in the Garden of Eden. And Adam notices that the days are getting shorter and darker as the very first winter solstice appears. Adam is absolutely terrified that the world is ending and his death is imminent. And so he fasts and he prays for 8 days. After the solstice passed, the days gradually got longer, and bit by bit, the light came back. Adam was so relieved as he realized that the coming and going of darkness was simply part of how the world worked. And the following year, he celebrated and feasted for 8 days. This story speaks to our shared human need for light, feasting, and celebrations at this time of year. In all of the ways that we may celebrate over these next few weeks, whether it's a celebration that you grew up with, sharing in the rituals of a loved one or someone else in your congregation, or creating a brand new tradition of your own, may it bring more light into a world that so desperately needs it. Now, traditionally, Jewish families like my own wouldn't light their Hannukah, their Hannukah menorah, until after sundown, but I want to share the tradition with you. So I'll sing the blessings with God's name slightly altered so that we save the actual blessings for when Hannukah starts. You're invited to sing along with me in Hebrew if you'd like. The words will be on your screen. And then we can say together the English translation of the blessings. Baruch atah Adoshem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hannukah. Baruch atah Adoshem, Elokeinu melech haolam, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה עד השם אלוקינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen. And we say it together in English. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings moments of holiness to our lives through the ritual of lighting the Hannukah lights. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings our attention to miracles from ages past to this very moment. Blessed are you, source of all, who has given us life, sustained us, and brought us to this very moment. And let us say, Amen. Happy Hannukah, happy holiday season to you all in all of the ways that you celebrate.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by sharing and honoring our joys and sorrows. If you'd like to share a joy or sorrow with the congregation this morning, now is the time for sharing in the chat box. These won't be spoken out loud and they don't become part of the recording. If you'd like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow or to make a prayer request, please email me. I'll put my email address in the chat box. Our story is called What a Wonderful World, based on the song by Bob Thiel and George David Weiss, as sung by Louis Armstrong. Illustrated by Tim Hopgood. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white. The bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies crying. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Miracles by Walt Whitman. Why, who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan, or dart my sight over the roofs of houses toward the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach, just in the edge of the water, or stand under trees in the woods, or talk by day with anyone I love, or sleep in the bed at night with anyone I love, or sit at table at dinner with the rest, or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car, or watch honeybees busy around the hive of a summer forenoon, or animals feeding in the fields, or birds, or the wonderfulness of insects in the air, or the wonderfulness of the sundown, or of stars shining so quiet and bright, or the exquisite, delicate, thin curve of the new moon in spring. These, with the rest, one and all, are to me miracles, the whole referring, yet each distinct and in its place. To me, every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me, the sea is a continual miracle. The fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them. What stranger miracles are there?
Hanukkah begins at sundown this evening, and it's customary for the menorah to be lit in people's homes within an hour of sundown. As ours is a public display of the menorah, keeping it lit during daytime hours is also appropriate. So you may know the Hanukkah story. In the 2nd century BCE, Greek rulers forbade Jewish practice and desecrated the most sacred place in the world for Jews, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. A small ragtag group of Jews, the Maccabees, resisted. They refused to assimilate, refused to adjust to a new normal. They defied those in power and against all odds retook the temple and cleaned it out. As they prepared to rekindle the eternal flame, they found only 1 day's worth of holy oil. Miraculously, that 1 vial of oil burned for 8 days until more oil could be properly prepared. For me, it's an important part of the story that the Maccabees did not know or expect that they would be blessed with a miracle. But they lit the lamp anyway. They began their work of restoring the temple anyway. They held on to the strength of their faith anyway. Before the pandemic, I would have needed to remind you that we don't live with certainty, not really, no matter how much we may feel like we know what's going to happen day to day. Now, of course, we live fully in that state of unknowingness. My husband and I went to a restaurant for lunch yesterday, and he wondered if we shouldn't go because we're hearing about this new variant. And I said, no, let's go before we know we have to stay home because of the new variant. This is our lives now, assessing risk, making decisions based on what we know today, taking what precautions we can, while seeking activities that, as safely as possible, support our happiness, our mental health, and well-being. It's hard to live this way, and it's hard to live this way for such a long period of time. I was recently reading a set of psychological theories about how and why certain segments of the population are coping with the stress of the pandemic. The folks who insist that the virus is a hoax and that the vaccines are not safe and that Dr. Fauci can't be trusted. One of the theories that may explain, in part, why some people think this way is called terror management theory. Terror management theory. And just the name of it really hit me, you know. Oh yeah, we're coping with the terror of what we're living through. So this is our lives now, living and coping with the ongoing stresses of a pandemic without definitive end. And because this is our lives now, we have to be intentional and proactive, as intentional and proactive as we've ever been at seeking out experiences that help us keep our spirits up. We need laughter, we need joy, we need reminders of all that is good. And great news, that is what the December holidays are all about. This time of year, when the days grow shorter and shorter, and the diminished sunlight contributes to depression and keeps us from spending time outdoors, here come Hanukkah and winter solstice and Christmas, full of good food and time with friends, lit candles and inspiring stories meant to help raise our spirits and cheer us up. So this morning, as we remember the Hanukkah story and the miracle of the oil, I invite you to be on the lookout for miracles. It has been said that there are only 2 ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Well, the most Unitarian Universalist response I can think of to a statement like that is, of course, to proclaim that there must be more than just 2 choices. I propose a third way. For most of us, we probably use the word miracle from time to time. I do. In looking through Facebook posts, I read people in this congregation using the word miracle to describe things like taking a walk after hip surgery, 30 days of sobriety, an assisted living facility where no one has gotten COVID, and also all of life. We use miracle to describe a happening that fills us with so much wonder, wonderful, that the happening seems to be inexplicable. Things that didn't seem possible, taking a walk after hip surgery, 30 days of sobriety, an assisted living facility where no one has gotten COVID, and all of life itself. Of course, science can explain each of those things. They're not impossible, they happened, and they aren't even that extraordinary on the face of it. What the word miracle is telling us is something about the feelings of the person who witnessed the happening. Taking a walk after hip surgery won't make the nightly news, but to the person doing the walking and to their loved ones, they feared that day would never come. Sobriety has been achieved by millions of people, but 30 days sober feels impossible to the person who is on day one. And it feels impossible to the loved ones who are worried about them. 30 days, a miracle. After all the death we have seen, all the stories we have heard, even now, an assisted living facility where no one has gotten COVID, definitely a miracle. And when someone tells you that all of life feels like a miracle, does that tell you something about life? Or does it tell you something about the person you're talking with? Something about what they've been through? A miracle. I've seen a miracle. The birth of my youngest niece 28 years ago. Impossible. One moment she wasn't there, and the next moment she was. A whole new person in the room. The magic, the mystery, the miracle of birth. For some people, the word miracle means we can't explain it, so that means God did it. Maybe some of us you use think that, but I suspect that many more of us like the wonder of the mystery. The interdependent web of all existence works in mysterious ways. Somewhere between the assertion that nothing is a miracle and everything is a miracle is how most of us, I think, witness what we would call miracles from time to time. Yes, on a good day at a beautiful location, we might feel swept away into appreciating that everything can seem miraculous at times. But not everything is wonderful, nor is everything inexplicable. I contend that miracles are special, unusual, to be surprised by and savored when they happen. But this is also why I'm encouraging us all to be on the lookout, because there may be more in the world to be surprised by than we'll ever see with our heads down. So one suggestion that I hope will appeal to many of you. Author Clemency Burton Hill has written a book called A Year of Wonder, and it is her suggested list of classical music pieces to enjoy, one per day for a full year. And expecting that many of you are going to be interested in this, I'm going to put it in the chat box. There we go. So this book has been out for a little while, and you can find playlists of the music pieces on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. They're just called A Year of Wonder playlist, and you can also look them up by month. I was playing some of it this morning before the service started. Isn't powerful music a miracle? So I hope you will have fun looking for miracles in the coming days and weeks, I hope it will lift your spirits. I hope you will share what you discover with me and with your friends. I hope the season of light and hope and faith that starts today lightens all of our hearts. May it be so. You are invited to join in singing. Today is our monthly Social Justice Sunday, when we donate our offering to a local organization that makes a difference in our larger community. This Sunday, we are taking a special collection for the North County LGBTQ Resource Center in Oceanside. Let's hear from their Executive Director, Max Disposti.
Hello, Chalice people. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. We just wanted to give you a shout out here from the LGBT Center, North County, Oceanside. As you all know, we have been open throughout the pandemic, and we have been providing services throughout these past 2 years. We've seen an increase of 300% in services through mental health and foodies and goodies, which is one of the programs where we provide and save food for our folks. So here we are, trying to do our best, but also excited that this community stood up to support all our folks and volunteers and the resources that we provide. So I hope you're all doing well. So a big thank you from the Oceanside and North County LGBTQ Resource Center, and hope to see you in person as soon as possible. Bye. Thank you. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
So there are two ways to donate. You can make a donation directly to the North County LGBTQ Resource Center. I will put a link in the chat box. There we go. This way, they know that the donation comes from you. You can be on their email list and get updates from them. But if you prefer, you can text your donation to Chalice, and we will forward the donations as a lump sum donation from the congregation. So to indicate your donation is for this special offering, when you text your dollar amount, put the word justice after the numbers. This is a social justice collection. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, not the social justice offering, then please be sure to indicate the word pledge after the dollar amount. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. As Unitarian Universalists, we gather to affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifices justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together, with peace as the song in our hearts. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly? Keep it alive in that flame. What's the commitment to those who have died when we've cried out they've not died in vain? Have we come this far, always believing justice would somehow prevail? This is the burden, this is the promise, this is why we must not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
Friends, will you join me in the spirit of prayer? I invite you to take whatever posture is comfortable to you. One posture that Unitarian Universalists might use is to place a left hand over the heart, an acknowledgement of the inherent worth and dignity of each individual, and lift the right hand into the air, acknowledging our connections to each other, our connections to the interdependent web of all existence. The words of our prayer come from Unitarian Universalist Kyle Johnson. O Spirit that moves in all things, great mystery, whose reach spans beyond the cold, distant edges of our universe, and yet is present within the vast subatomic emptiness, coursing through every fiber and every breath of our being and through being itself. Help us to see the miracle in the mundane, to see the crystal stars, the shape-shifting clouds, the patient trees, to see each other with fresh eyes. For it is so easy to forget what we truly are and what we've been given. As we move through our lives, let us remember to see through the mundane to the miracle beneath, and to perceive that common substance that gives birth to our myriad forms, that mystery that spans beyond the edges of the universe and yet infuses our next breath. And let this foundational awareness guide us on our paths as we work towards peace and fight for justice, while always informed by the spirit of compassion. May it be so. Amen. You're invited again to join in singing. Before we close the service, I'd like to invite newcomers to please use the link in the chat box to add your name to our email list. Our closing words come from Reverend Andy Pakula. There are miles behind you and many more ahead. As you journey on toward wholeness, May all that is good and true guide your way. May the joy of love lighten every step, and the miracle that is life be ever in your sight. Go in peace, go with love. You're invited to close our time together by singing the well, and everyone is invited to coffee hour.